Hi everyone, welcome. In this video, we are going to talk about Excel's conditional formatting and advanced filtering features. And I just copied a data set from the internet, and you can also do the same. This is from goodcarbadcar.net, 2019 US vehicle sales figures by model. So I just highlighted everything here, Control C, copy, and pasted. It was copy paste friendly, so I was able to get this data set on my Excel sheet. And instead of just using these changes ourselves as provided by the website, let's just get rid of these, and Control Shift and down arrow just highlights the whole range for us. And let's just delete that, Control Shift and down arrow, and then delete that as well. So this is the month and the current month and month last year, and then we need to find a change, and then the year to date last year, and year to date change, and these are the model values. So in here for the change it is going to be equal to the month last year and no, the month this year, and let's just open a parentheses, and then month this year minus month last year divided by month last year. So here we are seeing an increase of 41%. So we could just turn that into a percentage, and then we could just double click on it. And what we see here is there is a div indicating that there is nothing for the month last year, just causing a trouble for us. So what we could do is we could just use something like if error. So equals if error, then we put our formula that what we want, and then put a comma and put two quotation marks right beside each other, and then just double click, and those are going to be just empty cells now. If you want, you could just say that there is no value for the last year or something like that instead of just putting a quotation mark. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it here, and what's going to happen is it is going to use by relative referencing, it is going to use these two values, and it is going to provide us the year-to-date changes. So in here now we are able to find the change values. Let's just make some colors in here. So we are going to just highlight. Let's just first start with filtering this. We are not going to filter it right now, but let's just maybe modify these changes. So I'm going to just Control Shift and down arrow, and everything is selected there for 286 rows. And then I can just go to Home and Conditional Formatting. And what we want is we are going to just use icon sets, and we are going to just use the directional icons. We're going to explain how they work. And what we want is, let's say if the sales are up to 5% different from last year, then we are not going to bother ourselves. We are going to say it's almost the same. But if it is more than 5% change in either direction, it is going to be just an arrow up or arrow down. So we're going to just click on this, and then now everything is shown as arrow down. We have to adjust that. So we have to go to the conditional formatting and manage rules, and this is the icon set, and we need to edit this rule. And here we are going to change this from percent to a number, and if the value is more than 0.05, the icon is going to show a up, and if it is going to be less than, so this is going to be when it is less than 0.05 but greater than negative 0.05, it is going to be just a straight, so not much of a change. And if it is in the negative side after this point, it is going to just indicate a down arrow. So here, make sure that these are selected as numbers and not percent. Percent doesn't work. Okay, so click OK, and then click OK. And what we are seeing is 41% is just up, and then negative 40% is down, but 1% increase is just a straight line. So let's just use this conditional formatting on this one, format painter and year-to-date change, and then we could just double click again, and we are able to get all the arrows for the year-to-date change as well. Now, also, if you want to kind of show the negative values in a different color, you can add one more conditional formatting, and then you can say that highlight cells rules. If it is greater than a certain value, let's say 0.05, then you can just make the cells with a different color. Okay, so for example, if it is more than 0.05, then use so it is more than, not light, just make it custom format and make the fill color to be bluish. Okay, so maybe like very light blue. Okay, so we just click OK and then click OK. So we are done with those, and then we could do the same thing for the yellow one and the red one, and that would just look more colorful for you. You can also highlight these ones and just maybe put some kind of data bar there, just indicating that, hey, these are the numbers. And you can do the same thing for the year-to-date changes last year and this year. So let's do that. Format the painter and then here. So, or we could just copy down conditional formatting and data bars, and then we could just make it like this. Okay, so one thing to consider here is that you may not want to do a lot of colors in here. Less ink is better usually, but sometimes if you want to have more visual, then you can just have something like this, and then you can just show the movements in arrows, etc. Sometimes it's easier to read. Okay, in this case, the conditional formatting part is complete. Now I want to just move on to the advanced filtering. So what I could do is I could just do some filtering here, like number filters in each column of this data set, and I can try to see like which values are larger than 5% increase, or in which month that I sold more cars, or I can just look at, maybe sort them from largest to smallest, and then I can see that Ford F-Series and Chevy Silverados are the most sold cars year to date last year. And if it is the same thing for this year, Ford and Ram, the Ram pickup is the second one the year to date for this year. So you can just make some conclusions and come up with some managerial implications from these results. And if I want to kind of move back, then I can also do this and just sort them by model name. Now I want to kind of move on to now the advanced filtering. So I need to go to data and just click on advanced. But before I do that, let me just name this data set. So I'm just going to highlight the top row and then Control Shift and down arrow. The whole data set is selected. I'm going to call this my data. And if you want to call your data, you can just say the car data or something like that. It doesn't hurt anything. So let's just say that car data, okay? And car data, now this data set is called car data. And then let's just create one more sheet here, a new sheet, and then just highlight the top, the names of this data set, copy that and paste it here. Okay, so we are able to kind of get the same exact values. If I just paste with the formatting, I may be able to do that, but let's now, for now, we are just going to make it as the same because there is no format there. Okay, so in this case, what's going to happen is make sure that these titles are the same as these titles. And then you can put your conditions in this second row of this part, and then you can use the advanced filtering. So I'm gonna do is I'm going to highlight these and then just maybe put a color and then put some border lines, and this is going to be my advanced filter. And I'm gonna call this range as my filter 1. Okay, so this range is called filter 1. Now I can just click on the data and advanced. Now I want to filter, but not in the same place. I want to copy my data and filter it to another location. My list is my car data. My criteria range is filter 1. And my copy to is going to be somewhere here. Let's say right under there. And I want to get all my results. And then I want to just click OK. I am able to get all the information here. So because I did the filter, but there is no filter. So this is the whole data set. Let's just highlight this whole data set in here. And then just go to home and format Painter. And then let's just highlight this and just up to here. And then I'm going to just use the same thing. Now these cells they have the same formatting as the original data set. Now let's see if I could get a filter where the change is larger than 60%. I can only just click here, greater than 0.6, and that's it. And now I can go to my data, advanced filter. Okay, that's okay. Just my list range is not there. It's car data. And my criteria range is filter 1. And I want to copy to A4G4, copy to another location. Okay, so I just click OK. Now I'm able to see everything here larger than 60%. Now if I want to show this one too, let's just expand this, change a little bit more and expand the model name. It looks like now we are seeing that Chevy Blazer with the new model, it has more, the sales are up a lot. So I think the Blazer was kind of not being produced before, but now there is a new Blazer version. Okay, we can also see the other ones, but this is more than 60%. You can also change this and do something else, but you realize now that you have to kind of change this, go to advanced, enter every information. But what if we just automate this? And in this case, automating, the idea would be just creating a macro. Then we could just have a button here and then click on it, and then we can see all the results right away. To do that, you have to have your developer tab active. And if it is not there, don't get scared. And what you could do is you can go to File and then Options. And from here, customize the ribbon. And from Customize ribbon, you can just click on Developer and check that. And once that's checked, you can click OK. And then you will just see that the Developer tab is going to be there in there. Okay, if the developer is there, now you can just record a macro. And what's going to happen is we are going to just do the same thing what we have done before. But Excel is going to just turn that into a code. Then we could just utilize it later. So we are going to just click on record macro. And if this is your first time recording macro, and just you can comment and just tell me that you were able to successfully complete this step. Okay, so I'm going to click on record macro, and then it is going to ask me a macro name. So you can just call this car filter, something like that, car filter 1. And I'm going to click OK. Now everything I do is going to be recorded. So what I want to do, I want to go to data and then advanced, copy to another location, list range is car data, criteria range is filter 1, and then copy to is A4, G4. That's selected. Then I'm going to just click OK. Then I will just go back to my developer and stop recording. Now let's see what happened in macros. Under macros, there's car filter 1, and I want to click on edit. And then what I see is there is this apostrophe, and then it just indicates that car filter 1 macro. You can just type here that this is my first macro or something like that. And then this is not a code, it is just a text. And this part, you select range car data and then advanced filter. The criteria range is filter 1, and you copy to ranges A4, G4, and not just unique records. And then you are ending this macro. So everything looks good. We don't need to make any changes here. So we want to just close this. And now we are going to just insert, either from insert a comment button here, and we could do that, or you can just directly just create for a shape and assign a macro. Let's just do this. Insert a shape that you like, and I want to just create a shape and just a regular rectangle, and let's just change the color and add a text in here. Just call filter, or just say advanced filter. Okay, and okay, so then you can click on this shape, right click on it, and assign a macro and car filter 1, and then click OK, and you are all set. Now let's say change the number from greater than 0.6 to less than negative 0.2. Okay, so I just this is less than sign, and then negative 0.2, less than 20%. So I click on advanced filter, and I see all the points, the data for the cars where the values, the change is less than negative 0.2. I can delete that, and I can say monthly sales greater than 100,000. Okay, and then I can click on advanced filter. There is nothing, and because it looks like there is no car more than 100,000, greater than 10,000, and then advanced filter, and I'm seeing all the cars that have larger than 10,000 sales. So this is maybe a nice tool for a manager to have it. You could just punch in certain criteria, and you can see that. Now, one more further step to this is that if you have two columns, so instead of just one single column, then what if you have two columns, and how would you utilize that? In here, I can just maybe greater than 10,000, but also the change, let's just make it greater than 0.2, okay? So I can have two conditions in here, advanced filter, and there are only two models that met the criteria, both criteria, greater than 10,000, and then greater than 20% change. This is just these two models. And if I want to kind of indicate, sometimes it is not necessary, but it may be necessary, that you want to find out either or situation. You want to find out either more than 10,000 sales or greater than 20% sales. To do that, you have to modify this, and you have to put the second condition in the second row of this data set. I'm sorry, the second row of the filter. And then the advanced filter would work for you. Let's just do that very quick and just end this video. So what I did is I just press Control and just drag this sheet to the next one. Now this is going to be my sheet 3. And then let's just remove these and advanced filter. Now everything is there. It is still using the same macro. in the new sheet. But we want to change this criteria range, and for that what I want to do is I want to just insert one more row here, and then just put the color in there, and now I could just put greater than 10,000, and then here I can put the change greater than 0.2. Doing this, it is looking at either or situation, either greater than 10,000 or greater than 20% change. And when you do this, this is not and condition, this is or condition that you are seeing. But we cannot now use the same advanced filter. We are going to just assign a different macro to that. And what we could do is we can highlight this range now, everything in here, and name this as filter 2. Now, if that is filter 2, let's just go to our developer and macros. And we have car filter 1, just add it. Now this is one of your macros. We can copy this macro, and then we can also paste it here. And now we can just change this to car filter 2 macro. And we are just using the same range, but we are going to just use filter 2 instead. And copy to range is going to be, let's see if we just modify that to the second. So here it is just starting from A5. So if I do that, I want to just change this to A5, G5. So we duplicated the filter macro, and this is the first filter, and this is the second filter, and this is the second macro, and this is the first macro. Now let's just close this and right click on this to edit this, make this smaller, and right click and assign macro, make this car filter 2, and click OK. Now that's about it. Let's see how this works. I click on advanced filter. Now let's see here. This is the change is more than 20%, but it's not always more than 20%, right? For example, here, this is -9%, but this is 30,000. Just tells us that now one of the conditions met, but both could be met. But in here, if only one is met, then it's still going to work in here, and it's going to be provided as a list. So if you want to learn, for example, your sales, and you want to see if your sales are up, and you also want to see the amount of sales, and what you could do is you could just use this either or situation, and you can just create your advanced filter. I hope this is helpful, and thanks for watching.